We're back, baby. New channel, new teams, whole 9 yards. Welcome back to the CCL pre-show. Same desk as last season. We didn't lose any members. Everybody, give it up. Give it up. We did it. We did it. Good thing I paid
We did it.
everybody.
We can have Gomi lose us twice.
Thank goodness, right? Thank goodness. Fellas, how was your summer? How was your summer break?
Too hectic. As it was for me, I was like moving for a whole 3 months where I lived in like 5 different places. So that was fun. Glad I'm settled now though. And that's why I know nothing about Omega Strikers right now. So good luck with having me here, because I will just sit here and yap and say nothing of actual any meaningful logic or sense.
Hey, you and me both.
That'll be it.
By the way, congratulations on the new position and on the new job at Wisconsin Green Bay, correct? Yes, congratulations.
Yeah.
Nice job getting Roblox in the lab, bro. I was really happy to see that.
We gotta play some Dress to Impress sometime. We gotta do that.
Hey, that was a struggle, and for the second most popular game in that lounge.
Wow.
It needed done.
Yeah, I mean, I support that. I just played Roblox the other week.
There you go.
Love that. Vaughn, how about you? How was your summer?
Well, Dylan and I had a rip-roaring time this past summer. I saw everyone here in this call except for Kenneth because he's fake and had IRL responsibilities. Took home the LAN in the summer, felt great. Did not take home Nassau. That did not feel great. OS-related stuff. I just did a lot of travel, had a lot of fun, and now, unfortunately, back in school on the teacher side instead of the student side, and that sucks just as much as being a student, guys. I'll be honest. So, glad the school year started back up. Looking forward to some quality CCL matches. Just realized once again, also we're on the Odyssey channel, so that's like one of my 2 swears.
That was your one?
That was your one.
Oh, yeah, that was my
one,
2. No, that was my 2.
Oh, that was your
Yeah, that's a good reminder for Borg. Who?
Do I need a button up?
You might. No, you're fine.
Yeah.
You're good. So what I'm gonna do
chilling.
is if Aesop complains, then yes, we'll stop. But like,
I mean, Aesop likes like way worse things on his Twitter than this.
He's chilling.
Oh
He's
my God.
maybe he'll encourage that. As long as maybe someone draws fan art of Borg, then we can.
right. Okay,
There
we
we
go.
go. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yep.
Get on it, everyone.
Yeah. Speaking of Borg, how are you doing? How was your summer?
You know, I'm doing all right. You know, I think this summer, not good nor bad. I'd say it's pretty all right. The summer of change, I'm gonna call it. Lots of change in my life in general. Got a couple new hobbies, a couple injuries, recovered from said injuries, injured again, recovered from injured again, into training again, into swapping to midfield, into now I'm retired.
Wow.
So big, a little bit of a roller coaster for me, but yeah, I mean, I feel pretty good. Glad to be here. I was not late. I'll have the audience members know I was not late.
Yep.
But yeah.
Totally on time.
Totally. Yes.
I bet.
Yes.
I mean, not really much else to say, to be honest with you.
Gotcha. And we've got a CCL champion in the ranks, finally. 3Z Breezy. Threesland, how are you doing? How was your summer? How are you feeling?
I'm good. School's about to start up for me in a week, so
You're still
looking
not
forward.
back?
Quarter system, baby.
Yeah, UCLA and like Oregon State both like do have a quarter system, so they aren't even started yet.
Every UC except for Berkeley has quarters. Yeah.
I thought I was struggling when I had a 14-week semester and I got back 2 weeks ago, let alone like all the registration deadlines for all of the collegiate leagues have already passed and you all aren't even in classes yet.
Yeah.
Yep.
Our new partner EPAC,
Yeah,
they put their registration out to today, the 18th. So, you know, but yes, pretty much everything's done now, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I had a good summer. Saw these 2 fine gentlemen, Vaughn and Borg, in New York. Had a fun time there. Beat Sia in ping pong 8 times in a row, so we'll have to run it back at California.
That's true.
And let's see, I hung out with Gumi, Bells, and Shapeshifting as well. They came out. And Gravity, don't forget about that guy. And yeah, we went to Yosemite, had some fun. But yeah, I had a good summer.
Very nice, very nice. I grew a mustache. If you guys didn't notice already, I grew a mustache. So me and Borg are mustache boys now. And Vaughn. Vaughn's got a mustache. Vaughn's got a stash. Yeah.
That's true.
Cable,
Don't mind me.
A stash?
Nope.
No? Okay, gotcha. I was
Never
tripping.
will.
I was tripping. Oh, fair.
That's not happening.
Totally fair. Totally valid. Well, enough yapping. Let's get the load. Let's get the lowdown out here on all these teams. We've got 43 teams in the league this season. That's 2 more than in spring. So thanks y'all for signing up. It's been an absolute pleasure seeing all the new faces in the league as well. I think we've got 12 new teams, and a lot of them are B teams of already existing CCL teams, which is awesome. Case Western Reserve University, one of the new guys, esports at Oregon State. They've got 2 teams. Fanshawe has 2 teams. Long Island came in from ECAC. NJIT, they have a second team, like the Lowlanders. That's a great name, by the way. Love that. RIT has a second team for the first time ever. SLU has a second team for, I think, the first time ever. Texas A&M came back and got a second team, which is awesome. Texas Tech, my Red Raiders, got a second team as well. North Carolina, Chapel Hill, the Tar Heels, they're in this year. North Carolina is a huge sweet spot for Omega Strikers. You've got to study them a little bit, and UTulsa got a second team, and York University out of Toronto. So Ontario, you've got 3 teams in the CCL this year, and that's gonna be so not gonna be confusing at all with the already existing York Spartan Strikers. So you hear us yapping about York Spartan Strikers versus York University, 2 separate schools. Okay, one's a Lion, one's a Spartan. That's how it all works out, right? But we've got
Just
some
wait till they
returning
play
favorites.
against each other.
Exactly. The York Bowl is going to be amazing. I'm going to try to have that broadcasted. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be amazing.
Get the peppermint patties ready.
Yeah.
No sponsor though.
Yeah. Not sponsored. I gotta work that out. Let me talk to my
Dude, what does that mean, Kava?
What? York peppermint patties?
I'm not a knower.
They're like
You've
these.
never
about
heard of a
York.
York peppermint patty?
You usually eat them at like
Did
Christmas.
I stutter, Kenneth? No. How would you educate me instead of being an
Oh,
about it?
they beat it again. Not even 20 minutes into the recording.
Yeah, no, we're not even 10 minutes
We're
into
back.
recording, and we're
New
back.
season.
We're back.
Yeah.
Same beef.
Name all the characters on the roster you're on the game for the show for, bro.
Straight
Give
up,
knowledge.
just straight into it. We're just getting
Sorry
right
that
into
I
it.
don't know every delicacy in the world.
That's not a
try it,
delicacy. You're not missing out. I'll say that much.
Is it
You're
like-
not missing out on a lot,
if
but
it
like,
was worth knowing,
It's like
I
comes in the
would've
blue
known.
wrapper, right?
Yeah, it's like
Or
a
no?
silver and blue.
Oh, it's
wrapper.
like
silver.
like a candy.
silver.
Yes, it's like
Yeah,
a
it's like
silver
you get it on
wrapper.
Halloween.
Oh, those
It's
things
about yay
suck.
big.
Yeah, why? Yeah, better bring the peppermint patties. What are you, my grandmother? No.
Oh no, hold on. Wait. I've got something for this. Hold on.
we've got something
he's-
for this. How do we
got
have
something
something
for
for
this.
this?
He's got a peppermint patty.
He's got
I
a
don't know
patty.
why.
Bro, I got
That's
the
like
grandma
going to
candies.
someone being like, guys, don't forget the mound
I got the
bars
grandma
at the
candies, bro.
party.
The
Why
Why do you have
caramels.
those?
Because they're good. I like
And
them.
why was that necessary to bring on this?
Because bro said
Some
I
of
was
them
a
are good.
grandma. So yeah, I'm a grandma.
Some
I've
of
got the
them are good.
grandma
Well,
candies.
no, a K-Bob was the grandma, but
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're looking
Yes.
like a
both
grandma
be-
with
you
that
can
on your
both be in the
face.
nursing
Yeah,
homes
that's fair.
because I'm sure your takes today will maybe be senile.
They will get
so-
me. They will
You're
make me
probably
retire.
right.
Yes, they will make me
Yeah.
have to retire. Absolutely.
Absolutely ruthless pre-show so far.
This is
Ruthless
insane.
So far. Oh, well,
Who's
we're
gonna-
Yeah,
back.
we're
I'm
back.
just gonna
We're
watch
back.
if we just talk about.
We're back.
We have to
We're
back.
like make a. We have to funnel content for Aesop so he can do his job. So we got to be more ruthless.
Yeah,
That's just how it is.
Facts.
That's just how it is. Returning favorites. There's been a lot of scramble, a lot of movement in the CCL. Most notably, the alumni rule has come into effect, meaning that alumni from last season are eligible to compete for one more season, which is why UCLA is back in the fray this year alongside a few other teams as well. SLU has alumni as well, so that's pretty cool. But there's still a lot of movement, a lot of scrambling in the league. We'll get to that here in a bit, but your returning favorites, of course, UCLA Esports, your reigning national champions, Lakeland University, CCL Fall 2023 champs and runners-up from last season, Longhorn Esports almost beating UCLA in an insane lower bracket game there, and then GMU comes back with their full roster as well. So there's a lot of clear defined favorites, but a lot of other teams that could potentially make up for some lost time there in the CCL there. But we'll talk about that in our top 10s mainly. Let's move on here to the meta. The meta has changed pretty drastically, I would say, since spring. And we've got some fellas here that have played during the CCL off season professionally. Fellas, what are we thinking here about the meta this season?
This is a skip from me. Somebody else is
That's
gonna
totally
take it
fine.
first.
Yeah.
No, we weren't talking
Maybe
about you.
Kenneth
Don't worry
is
about
actually gonna have a real good take because I thought you were just gonna talk about X for a second. I was like, wow, he actually got something right. Like that's big. But but I'm down for my fellow. I mean, us X players on the desk. We got all of us. All
Actually,
the
that's
relevant
true.
Ones,
All of
clearly.
us.
That's facts.
So I was wondering, what do you got? I think it's been kind of like nebulous. I would say it's had a couple different like spots. I'm curious what you guys think first, because you're brawler players at heart, which means that you're inclined to have bad balance takes. So I'm curious. I'm
Well-
curious what you guys think of what you consider like strong right now in current day, like going into the start of the season. Like what should teams have their eye on?
Well, I'm also now full-time caster, commentator, talent here. No longer a pro player, so my takes are allowed to be bad now. I'm
Yo,
pulling the card
congratulations.
early.
Congratulations, Borg.
Resist bringing it up challenge failed. We're on number 3 of
No,
the
we're
cast.
not.
Maybe it's gone to a prediction of how you've retired.
How are we not on? Okay. Point
I have a
being is
running
I'm allowed to be
tally.
wrong. Okay, well enjoy the running tally. I gotta milk it while I can, but I think I'm not sure if anything's changed in the last couple weeks. I've been not really practicing or playing that much anymore, but it seems like not really that much has changed other than all the perfect form and like cooldown abusers are still really good. So brawlers back in season, baby. That's all I'm gonna say. Brawlers. So if a team has a good brawler, I'm gonna be looking at them a lot more than I was last season. That's my take.
That's facts. That's a good take. That's a good take. Threezy, what do you think? What are your opinions on how the meta is
Yeah,
right now?
I think that creations are really strong right now. So any character that can utilize like creation awakenings, like Siege Machine, Timeless, Monyu, Hot Shot, 1-2 Punch, making the core go really fast and making big things that stay there for a long time, like Alice, Amy. I think Mako's really strong right now. Again, we're back into the cycle where damage was really strong, so Mako kind of fell off because you would just die. And now she's back because damage is harder to pull off with the current pool. You had Heavy Impact get taken away, which was a really big damage awakening. As well as some other stuff like more cooldowns means more survivability for some characters with like Reverb and Perfect Form. And then we have 4 size awakenings in the pool, which again just means that brawlers are going to get it done more than they ever did before. So yeah, I agree with Borg for sure.
Is
And
Asher
adding
back
to
to being
that-
OP again? I think I've heard
Yeah,
on the
she's
streets
broken.
that she's broken again.
She's never not been broken.
mean,
I'm gonna
yes,
be honest
She's
with you.
always been
She's-
broken.
she's
It just
definitely,
took the
at least from
Messiah
a
to
North
show
American
us.
perspective, she's the best brawler. For
Okay.
sure.
All right.
I think pivoting to the back defensive end of the court, since we focus more on the front end, then between midfield and goalie, I definitely think speed is back on the menu. There's this, I think, especially in the lower ranks, because damage is difficult to execute in a competitive setting. We've always leaned more towards seeing, like, especially in CCL, the Kais, the Eras, the Nows. They're strong. They're completely fine. I think we saw a lot of that in recent play around like the meteoric rise of Showtime with Xianzu, who's not in CCL, but has really risen to stardom. I have a lot of respect for him as a player and is a bit of a Chrono Boost merchant. He's opened my eyes to the power of the speed. There's a whole bunch of it. A lot of the characters that did a lot of damage have been nerfed. That doesn't mean you can't get KO comped. But sometimes when you have 600 movement speed on everyone with a Mako beating your drum in the back, there's nothing you can do. You just get stat checked. So I think a lot of teams, if you've got someone who really loves Mako, just stick them on it. If you got someone on Atlas, you can just stick them on it. I think a lot of times those high impact goalies, pun not intended, are gonna have a really high risk for a medium reward, especially in CCL. While you'd much rather probably have most of your players that are playing goalie this season on something that's gonna lock it down. It's been the same story the whole time, but this time those picks are really good.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's where I'm at right now. And I think especially there was a lot of discussion about the now change, because for people who might not know on the desk, the now mine is not a heavy hit anymore. It's only a light hit, and they lower the cooldown a ton. All good. I mean, guys,
I'm coming back.
we
Guys,
could
I'm
have
ending
a
my
character-
retirement. I'm coming
You didn't know that, Borg?
No, I haven't played in 3
Yeah,
weeks.
no, it's disgusting, Jordan. It's so cringe. They couldn't make the character be weak, so they took away the heavy hit, and I was like, oh my god. And then I kept reading, and they lowered the cooldown to 8 seconds.
Oh wait, never
on her
mind.
secondary.
I'm saying sorry.
Which is disgusting.
Never
So
mind.
she has the lowest cooldowns in the game now, even lower than Finny, because Finny got hit. And Finny had disgustingly low cooldowns. So, I mean, it's all good. The character's really strong. Utilizes, like, Timeless just as well, which just got added back in the pool. So I think that's, a nice way to tie back into everything, which was... I think all the rules are a bit in flux, but it definitely seems like there's a lot of power budget in Brawler because there's more survivability in the pool, which means the Brawlers aren't going to get bullied out as much if they can navigate the other side of the pitch effectively. So
If y'all had
that summarizes it kind of nicely.
Yeah, great points here, Vaughn. Great points. I do want to ask something before we move on to our top 10 lists here. If you have any advice or any strikers that these newer teams should start playing on and start improving on, what would those strikers be?
They should play the ones they're most comfortable on.
Yes, I actually can double down on that.
It's never going to be anything different. It doesn't matter what the meta is. Don't read that closely into it. Just play the character you're comfortable with.
Facts.
I would lock Julie every single week in CCL. I don't care unless it gets banned from me for some reason. But that's crazy because I'm not even going to make that big of an impact on Julie, so it doesn't matter.
And K-Bot would go and terrorize my team at Texas Tech.
I don't know about terrorize.
Yeah, whoever you have the most fun playing.
Insane. Yeah, so
yeah,
yes.
Real.
I've had some of my most success in CCL playing Luna and just blowing people up for the entire game and having fun doing it. So it's just whoever you like, and you can always make it work. Like a lot of characters will be flexible in terms of starting awakenings. You can now go Mag Souls. Now is like a viable thing to do now. So you kind of have 3 or 4 different gears you can take depending on what you want to do, and pretty much every character can be viable in every match.
I disagree. Lock in Mako, Amy X, or Mako, Amy Asher every single game, and you'll win.
Thank you, Borg.
There you go.
Thank you,
I
Borg.
agree.
There you go.
I think all the
Enjoy
goalies
that
should
one.
start practicing Rune. Time to work on your runes, fellas.
I
Let's
agree.
go.
Shout out
I
Orion
agree because that'd be
No,
funny.
goalie,
That would be
yeah,
really
goalie.
funny to watch.
Goalie room
Yeah,
is...
I'm so I can't go another day 2 pretending to get excited about another Mako mirror. Thank God mirrors are gone. I think
Yes,
the biggest
mirrors are
change that we
gone.
didn't mention. There's no mirror, so instead of Mako versus Mako, I can see Atlas versus Dubu when Mako's banned. But at least I can maybe see something else. So anyone who's got like a fun little pocket pick, I'll follow your team, especially if you're the goalie, because the goalie picks they get a little stale sometimes. I know I just said Block and Mako, but like I'd love to see a pretty good Luna, like Judgment.
Okay, that's probably true. You probably need 2 characters you're comfortable on.
Yeah,
Because now we're in
yeah.
Snake Drop.
Get to
But
because Snake Drop.
Yeah.
Yes, you can't
Snake
mirror
Drop.
anymore. And we have
Thank
the
God.
exact
Thank
same as in-game ranked queues, and then we added on Night Market. So it's IMEZAP, Atlas Lab, Clarion, Demon Dice, Tycho, Oni Village, and Night Market. So that is the pool there.
Dylan,
Well,
Deus.
Deus,
Deus.
say the word.
Deus.
It's
no.
a real word. You're just saying it wrong. You're just saying it's like I always said Omega Strikers.
Oh
like,
no,
that's
Amy
not
versus
the word.
Amy all over again. Oh no.
No.
Everybody knows
That's
what I'm
not
saying.
Ivy versus.
No.
Everybody knows what I'm
no.
saying.
That is a fictitious name. That's a play on words. Travis, I don't care. It's
It's yapping so hard.
Dictionary.
The mic
Hey,
doesn't want
don't
it.
worry. You got cut out. You
Don't worry,
cut out.
okay.
You're
Good.
You got
In dictionary. In the dictionary. It's just a fictitious name that was made on a play on words. Amy, I don't really care. It's Deus.
Deus.
It's Deus.
Okay, Deus. Okay.
Grab your
Demon Deus.
father's encyclopedia. Yeah. All right.
I will
no,
grab my
I
father's
love
encyclopedia.
potatoes,
I need to
guys.
read more anyway. Oh my gosh. Every time you cut out there, I just imagine like the guy talking to a brick wall, that gif. That's just
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, let's move on. Let's move on after the meta here. We'll see how that plays out throughout the season. Aesop's probably going to have maybe 1, maybe 2 patches that will drop. One of them will definitely drop right before playoffs and make everything go crazy. So we'll see how the season goes. But as of right now, great points from our pro players here on the desk. And we're going to get into our top 10s now. K-Bot, I have not heard you yap in quite some time. I need to hear you yap, man.
Take
This
it
is
easy
not
with
going to be
K-Bot.
Eddie yapping. This is
Just
not
take
going to
it
be
easy,
Eddie
bud.
yapping. No, you know what this is? The list from me, okay, is not like actual top 10, 1 to 10. This is more like the teams that I'm looking out for that are probably in about the right order, but I don't actually know.
Okay, I like that.
Because I haven't watched actually any of these players. So you want me to go down the list?
Go down it.
I'll do it in the order I put it in, but this order is not anywhere close, and Vaughn's gonna give me the death stare here in a second. Am I going 10 to 1 or 1 to 10?
Go 1. Actually, let's go 10 to 1. Let's go 10 to 1. Let's do that.
Okay. 10 to 1. Number 10, GCU Crandors 2. The first
Crandors.
two teams, the first two teams I've got in this list are the in-house's demons over the past month. And there are two of them. There are two of them in the top 10. And I'm going to butcher the Japanese name because I don't know how to actually say it.
Ikigai.
Ikigai? Okay.
The artist
Ikigai,
known as Shrelmix.
And Kotola. By the way, Kotolo?
That's
I don't
crazy.
even know.
Kotolo.
That's
Kotola.
Rail Mix?
Look,
Okay.
Oh
hey.
my goodness.
All right.
Shrelmix.
Game
Good.
Bot.
Real big
Kotolo
brand.
7-0 on the goalie roll, number 2 on the ELO chart, okay, in the in-houses. Number 9, Longhorn Gaming is on the list somewhere. Nikki Middleton Lore 17-5
Snake's
in
mom.
in-houses.
Snake's mother.
That's
The mother of Snake.
that's real. That is real.
Put him in the
Right.
baby carriage. Oh my god. Put him in the crib.
Yo! Wow, I can't believe
Surf
you
is
dropped
very
an
impassioned.
F.
Yeah,
That's
before me.
crazy that you just dropped an
Syntax,
F-bomb.
bleep that.
I
Thank
would,
you.
I mean,
I would never.
you guys are not good at this whole
It's been all
brand
summer.
friendly thing.
It's crazy that I'm the one.
Friendly.
I'm the one who
Yeah.
hasn't swore yet. It's crazy, by
I
the way.
haven't either.
Good job.
I've got a check mark next to my name, and they've watched my stream. So if they're okay with what's that, I mean,
That's real.
I
That's
could
real.
I
That's
could
real.
get away with
Check
that
mark
cheeky
gang.
little- Yeah, the check
Number-
mark gang.
Number 8. St. Clair has had a roster upgrade this year.
That's facts.
I'm watching them. I don't think it's enough for them to go all the way up because I'm really heavily going to start prioritizing teams. What was my mantra last year? Check the core strike. Guess what I can't do this year? Check the core strike. But what I can do is check the Clarion charts.
Or the stats.os.gg.
The Clarion charts
Yes.
aren't looking so good for St. Clair right now, and that's why they're pretty low on this list. Also, number 7, SLU with coin. With coin is the asterisk on this. I put them pretty low on here because this roster doesn't look like it's it. Taking some pretty big hits after the last year, especially if coin's not going to be in a starter position. So, good luck, Zoro. Better hold it down real good. Number 6, I guess I'm back to being a doubter this year. Lakeland is on already. Again, roster changes, people leaving, doing other things. No sight of Midmouse anywhere. And I think
Oh,
E.T.
yeah.
Han hasn't been playing very, very much lately either.
Wow.
So I don't know about this roster either. But
Hey,
it's not looking
Don't sleep
too
on
hot.
my boy Big Mac 1224. He gets it.
Big Mac
1224
1224 needs to hit the cues, my friend.
Gets it done. Yeah, I mean, this team just doesn't have a midfielder now, so that's cool.
So we'll see how that goes. I'm not holding out many high expectations. 5, esports at OSU Black up here on the list. Also, Clarion charts looking real good on this team. Number 88 on the leaderboard is Zunicore coming in for this roster. Well done there.
Saw them in the queues today.
Yeah, there you go. Number 4, GMU. I want to rate this team higher, but again, they're not playing the game, so I don't know where they are. But they're not in the queues, so that's kind of important. You know who is in the queues, though, pretty well? NJIT.
Yep.
I have up
Yep.
here on the list. I definitely think they're in the top 10. Whether or not you want to put them as high as I did, you probably don't want to. But I do think this could be the year, especially with the number of roster changes they made. I mean, they made positive roster changes here, right? Miribeg is able to pick up Yoko Kita.
Yeah, K-Bot, who is that, by the way? Who is that midfielder? Who is that?
He said not a roster change. Okay, I actually have no idea.
No, it is.
Who
No,
that?
Do you know who that is?
No, I don't.
All good. Okay, I'll give you a hint. They're an NASL midfielder. It's me. I'm in grad school. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey!
No, it's an NASL midfielder. You get 3 guesses. Current, even. That makes it easier.
Ooh, current. Okay.
Oh, kind of.
Well, in theory,
Well-
current.
kind of.
Played in the previous NASL season. I can't confirm
Well, it's
or deny.
not
any teams.
Shianzu.
Is that okay? Yeah.
Is it Shianzu?
Well, Shianzu's name is Shianzu, you know?
Right. Well,
Yeah,
if this is a current NASL midfielder, then how is
Yeah.
it? Oh, currently their name is. Okay.
I think their name changed recently. That's probably what
Yeah.
it is. But
So it changed in the past 3 weeks. Of course, I'm not going to know this.
the artist formerly known
um,
as what?
Don't go on Wikipedia to look up the midfielders. You just got to be able to write this off the dome.
I'm not going on
Yikes.
Wikipedia. I'm getting there. Hold on. It's been a little bit. Hey, also, for the record, I took a decent part of the season
true.
off because I was busy moving. So cut me a little bit of slack here. I didn't have nearly as much time with these teams.
I won't, can I? I won't. It's okay. I'll let you know now. It is actually your next hint is it's the EKC midfielder.
Ooh.
It's the EK. That's Katsuna?
Yeah, that's Katsuna.
Yep.
Okay.
He's at NJIT now.
Well, what I say about upgrades? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, kind of that simple. We'll see where that goes. Number 2, this is where you all are going to get mad at me, and this is where I give my asterisk.
Oh, Fog?
UCLA.
Yep.
Number 2, with number 389 Gramella and number 201 Threezy Breezy, both hard stuck diamond players.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
On the
Whoa.
list.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
That's
Whoa, 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 whoa,
Man,
whoa,
those
whoa,
guys
whoa.
suck.
Yo.
Who's your number 1?
Yeah, no,
Who's
hold
your
on.
number 1?
No, no,
Is it
no, no.
RIT White? Is
No,
it RIT White?
no one is hard stuck diamond. I cannot be asked to play solo queue when I'm already scrimming like 3 to 4 days a week. And I also know that Josh has been playing the game as well in scrims. So
Yeah. I mean,
solo queue is real,
obviously the
as always.
diamond is a joke, right? But point being, this roster is still going to be strong. I haven't seen Waterfree play at all. I don't know where that guy's at right
That's
now.
true.
Obviously,
That's
he was
also
well
true,
trained.
yeah.
Obviously, he was well trained last season. I don't know where he is right now.
He
Number
popped off
1,
at the New York land. I'll say that.
yeah, he
but
was
yeah,
going
he's
crazy
taking a little
in
bit of a
New
break.
He did play
Okay.
like a week and a half ago, I will say. I know that for a fact.
okay. Well,
All right, who's your
again,
number
you're.
1?
Who's your number 1, K-Bot?
Less
Yeah.
Texas Tech Black.
Number 1, UTD with Snake.
Damn it.
With Snake. And I know Vaughn has fainted because we were talking about this before recording. No, before
Before
going
we
live.
went
Sorry.
No, are we still doing
Before
that bit?
we went
Are still
live.
doing that bit?
But listen,
Before we're live
Don't
on
get me
TD.
started on UTD, bro.
Asianator is number 31 on the leaderboard right now. I'm just saying somebody is playing the game,
I will
and it's
agree with
pretty
Kayvon in
clear
that
that
respect.
somebody's playing the game.
I won't
actually
say
not.
that
I'm
they're
not
a
gonna
good team,
say,
but I'm not saying that they're not a good team. You
and
know?
frankly, if Snake isn't in top form, or if Snake doesn't play at all, this team probably squeaks into top 16, right?
Yeah.
But if Snake actually plays, I think this roster could be pretty good. Clocoke rounding it out, he's gonna be able to be in there and get the job done, I think. So we'll see. But there's my 10. I don't know if it's the top 10 ordered 1 to 10, but there's a list of 10 teams. Dylan Surplus.
Thank you, K-Bot. Thank you, Kenneth. That's a great 10 list there. Let's move on to Vaughn, who I think has a actual 1 through 10. More.
I think
so.
what I'll do too, just because
No offense.
we've got so many potential lists, is I think I'd love to just use K-Bots as a jumping point for the rest of us.
Mhm.
Maybe talk about some of the teams that stick out, and maybe bring up some that are interesting. Instead
So
of maybe
just
going through all 40.
tear my list to shreds, why don't you? Yeah.
No, it's a diving board. it's so I don't yap for 30 minutes on the thing while
Yeah.
everyone's like, holy moly. I'm gonna shout out a team that I actually did not hear, but I'd like to give some give some props to, which is going to be OSU Black with Captain Names AH. I actually think that this team.
Wait, I did say.
No,
OSU.
he said them.
He did say that.
I
Oh, you
did
did?
say
Was that
OSU
the
Black.
bottom 10?
That was you.
I'm
That was
sorry.
number 10.
Zunicore that was team number 5
Number 5.
that I listed.
OSU was wow. OSU Black number 5.
Yeah,
That's pretty. Oh, okay. Am I mixing up? Did you say RIT Orange or no?
I did not say RIT.
Okay,
That
then
is
I'm mixing
true.
up with RIT Orange. I definitely like to bring up RIT Orange. You talked a lot about like recent performances, and one person that actually had a pretty strong showing in the offseason on some tournaments was Beepo. Beepo placed rather nicely in a recent team player today on Fridays that's hosted by Yoshi. Was on a team with Color Craze and Tempo Melon, and that team outplaced. They outplaced a Dropletto Gret Breads team. They outplaced a Showtime with Megaverse. They outplaced some nasty teams. They outplaced a team. Actually, I think multiple nasty teams now that I think about it. And then they also placed like equally to like teams with like Xeno Gemini and Zay. I think they ended like top 6, eventually losing to the second place team with some really strong players like Luke. So I think Beepo has been actually on a pretty big improvement arc. So I'm excited to see him compete. And RT Orange kind of made some waves last season. Like I think the little Crimbus Malamonoth combo was more effective than a lot of people maybe anticipated. So I wanted to bring up that team. I have a note for one other team as well that I have my eyes on. You did mention Fenshaw Fuel, right?
I did not.
He didn't.
Okay, that's
I was
that's
gonna
the
say.
other one.
Yeah.
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 Good. I'm about to say because these guys are grinders. I know we're talking a little bit about Solo Cube, but I think someone that is actually a pretty strong competitor in the CCL landscape is going to be Equal Equations. So and when I did a KG, for people who don't know, Knowledge Gap is a series where a certain rank cap is drafted on teams that are coached by high-ranked players. And so Bells and I were the coach of one team, and we actually looked at up and down for one of our midfielders because I thought he had a lot of potential. And then Sistane is the other player, and Sistane is a player that usually when you get to the top of the ladder, you get paired down with your teammates for balancing purposes. And so Sistane is one of the challenger players that if I get them, not that I'm high ranked right now, but as the season goes on, if I see like Sistane on a team, I'm like, okay, like I can work with this. Like I think this is fine. Like I can get a win with Sistane against like a triple like Omega Plus team. So I think those are two of the teams that stuck out to me. And then I wanted to also shout out, and you already talked about this a bit, but St. Clair Esports, picking up Judgmental. I was curious at how good he would be because he kind of dropped off for, he played in NASL like Launchpad quals and then disappeared. And then we didn't see anything from him until Play One More 3 last weekend, where he had a really strong performance, finishing first in his group. And that is the S tier of like potential S tiers, like just the top players invited in the region. And if you can hold, players like Snake, Dropletto, like really established brawlers in your group, if you can hold those guys, you can hold CCL forwards as well. So I think the little combination of Atlas and Luna is like a really annoying pool on some sibling lore. So I want to shout out those couple teams. My number one is so far and away. It's so far and away UCLA. I think they had a moment where they had to lock in because they like had terrible mental or something and almost lost the teams that I don't know. They finally break the little curse where like they're two top NASL players, and Water Fury is a great player too, who has played at NASL. So the fact that any team has 3 NASL players, 3Z recently got 3rd place in the most recent S tier, and then Gramella on Bang Bang tied Sad Boys for the #1 record in NASL. That's crazy. You have probably the best midfielder, probably the best brawler in the league, and arguably the best. I would probably put him 3rd behind Zoro and Soren. So that's something that I wanted to bring up too. So that's definitely my number one. And I think that's a great diving point where I talked about my number one. I'm curious if anyone else on the desk, maybe Borg, do you have a team that you have as number one? Or something I'd also like to ask you, if you agree with me there, is when you look at this list, you've played midfield and brawler now. So you have a bit more experience in both positions at a high level. Which of these like forward pairs on teams that we've either mentioned or not, like obviously the easy ones are the NASL pairs, but which ones potentially like stick out to you or you maybe recognize as like forward pairs that could get it done?
Honestly, after playing this last season, and I think 3Z Breezy can agree with me here, I think playing with someone for a long period of time is very good. Because when you match with someone new, even if they're both good, I think it takes a little while to get the hang of each other. So I think one team that I wanted to shout out, obviously, not too big of a shocker. I was a big fan of them last season, but I think same roster coming in, and I'd say not a worse CCL roster, but like a little bit of a nerfed one. I feel like a lot of the rosters lost a lot of members, a lot of the powerhouses in the past, right? And so I think GMU, with basically the same roster of Vega and Wiggly Wobbly, I think they can do a lot more damage this year than they have really ever before, and that's saying a lot given that they've placed pretty well before. So I'm looking at them pretty much always this season. Obviously, I know you said besides this, but one thing I wanted to shout out, I don't have like a real top 10 list because honestly, I do not have any data on a lot of these teams. I cannot call it. It's just going to be all random picks from me.
It's a brand new season. There's a lot of new teams.
It's brand new.
It's
yes.
I understand.
So one thing I did want to say is I want to predict the finals, though. I think NJIT versus UCLA is going to be the finals. I think Katsuna Mirimeg is going to be very good. I actually think Storm, with a good reason to play and a reason to grind, is actually a pretty good player. Talk to them a good amount, so I think they can definitely show up, especially in CCL type of a stage. And then obviously UCLA, I mean, goats. I think they're gonna win. I'm not gonna argue there about that, sadly. But yeah, all my notes that I actually have are about the. I think I did it last year too. I have a couple teams I want to shout out purely for the people that are on them.
Oh yes.
If you don't mind.
Org.
If you don't mind, okay.
Me,
so I have a little top 3 here. I didn't really have them in any order, but I think I'm gonna order them real time right now. And we're gonna start with number 1. My favorite team based on names and just based off the vibes here is going to Team RPI with Daniel Sodium, Malphite Lover, and AJ Cannon.
Yeah, amen.
I mean,
Malphite Lover,
I'm going to be watching all these teams' games just so I can cheer verbally out loud by myself in my room, just because their names are so fun to say. Daniel Sodium, let's go! So that's my number 1 team to look out for, based on names, based on the vibe check. They've passed with flying colors. So, I mean, shout out to all of them. You're my new favorite this season. Obviously, I got to shout out Girly Grippers on West Valley Storm Strikers. Always a fan.
Grippers.
Always a fan. And then here's a little bit of a wild card here, because they are a substitute, but they might be seeing playtime. I hope is Penn Johnson from York Spartan Strikers.
Yes.
With also an appearance on that roster is Big Bro 6293. I like that guy. Or gal. I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest with you.
Big Bro 4 numbers.
But yeah, those are my top 3. A lot of good names here, trust me. Runner up here, actually the CWRU Spartan OS. Very, very unknown team here, but they do have BMW and Elongation on their team. So 2 names, two battlers there for the names, but not quite reaching my top 3 list.
Make sure to put
there's my list there
between
for
those
you.
2 names so that you don't get people don't get the wrong idea. You know, you got to put a space between.
Oh,
BMW
I see what you're saying.
And
yeah.
Elongation. Yeah, elongation.
I don't think anyone should have to do that. I think they all know what I said. I think you're
That's
just a
fair.
sick freak.
I'm just a sick
but
freak. I know some
I'm
other
down.
sick freaks. So just
Yeah. But there's my list. Yeah, but the serious list: NJIT versus UCLA Grand Finals. I'm calling it right now.
Book it. There you go. 3Z.
And I'll be there to cast it.
Speaking of freaks, let's go with C Daddy Magic on Ole Miss Esports. That's an awesome name.
I missed that one.
C Daddy
I missed it.
You got Zack Attacker, C Daddy Magic, Swoos, milkshakes, and then our goat Yachty.
That's an
So
awesome team.
Okay.
That's an awesome team. Oh my goodness. Shout out to Ramen Raymond as well. Classic. Truly classic name. 24 crab apples on the bench of Fanshawe Fuel. Look out for them. No, seriously, in terms of my ranks, my ranking teams, I think this GMU team should be really strong once again this year. I think they got third last year. And then NJIT with Katsuna, who has kind of been on and off with the game recently. So we'll see if he's able to commit to CCL and play at the high level. But that is a super strong duo. And then with Storm, who's also been really grinding the game for like the past few months, especially. I'm not too high on the St. Clair Saints. I think that they have like players that are inactive and don't really play too much. Even with Rebirth in the net or Judgmental as his rename, I don't think that team's going to perform too nicely. They should make playoffs though pretty easily. Light Sky and Zenith are back on the koalas, but they're third. I have no idea who they are, unfortunately, so I'm not sure how well that team will perform. We have another duo, the Rogs, Tanky McTanky and Damon, are back for another season. Those guys are permanently in the queues, so shout out to them. Not sure again about their third. There's a lot of people, duos with like a third that I'm just not sure about this season. Andy7675 is in CCL this season on YU Esports. I don't know what that stands
York
for.
University in Toronto.
York University. There you go. But he seems like saddled with two lower ranked players, so we'll see how well that team does.
The worst York.
I'm really high on Longhorn as well. These teams that have played together, especially as three, Longhorn really impressed me last season. I coached Nikki Benallen like a lot. Did some work with Mr. Flambeau as well, so that team is super solid. And I think they can definitely go far in playoffs next season.
All right, great points.
Okay, so hang on. I wasn't too far off from what the rest of you all said with UCLA 2, NGIT 3, GMU 4. Ignoring
One was
UTD.
just so bad that
I
it
mean-
just
Ignore
invalidated
UTD.
everything else.
Well,
I
having UTD at
actually-
1 is just kind of a crime.
Yeah,
I'll be honest.
I think UTD
Yeah.
at 1 is.
You
crazy.
need to be
I think-
arrested.
I think
That's a
UTD
little
is
crazy.
definitely a top 10 team though. Let's like
They're-
for all my
Yeah,
if there's
yeah.
UTD players listening,
Yeah.
I'm not like hating to hate. I just think anyone saying you're number 1 right now is off their rocker.
If Snake is playing, I think there's a
No,
chance.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. if
Stakes not on
Snake's
the starting
playing.
roster.
I also think even if he was playing, there's just a certain style that Snake succeeds with, and I think that style is something.
Is let
that-
Kainu do the
You're
work?
playing with Kainu. Oh,
No, I won't
Yo,
stand for this
yo,
slander.
chill out.
All the time. He has
No,
the
he's
most
not.
The most
S-tier wins
disrespected.
I've
He
shouted
has
him
the
out so
most
many
S-tier
times.
That's
that I
actually
don't
real.
myself.
out of anyone. I don't want to hear it. And he's won over like half of them without Kainu. So zip it, bro. I'm on my
Yeah,
Snake
hey,
defending
bro.
thing. That being said, even if he played, I don't think his style of brawler is actually like super great to win games. I think that if he was in, and they have Cloak Oak returning, who I think is a solid player. And I guess he would be filling in for Anime Gamer 001, which I like that name. I just gotta check that.
Anime
name.
Gamers.
I don't.
I
I'm not a
think
fan of that
I
one.
think that the way Snake plays is the midfielder needs to have a lot of responsibility on them to make sure he can do his job first. And then sometimes it's like that autonomy is really difficult, especially if you're trying to beat the top teams and you have an enemy midfield. Your goal is to win, and you have to get through like Gramella and I tried to think of his new name.
Katsuna?
Katsuna.
Yeah, no, I was trying to think of the new name, but I couldn't, so I'm just gonna say Katsuna.
Ayuko Kita.
Yeah, so Katsuna. So if you're trying to be the best team, and those are the midfielders you have to get through, I think that's really hard. No matter how well those players can play, like I need to see, like playing against two players that have been voted top 3 NASL midfielders in different seasons is like, or arguably top 3 in different seasons that they played that's tough. That's really tough. They both, I mean, Katsuna's second place NASL 3. That's hard. That's a hard task to ask. So no disrespect to any of those players, but I do think Snake's style is a little weird. Like last season, we saw him get 30 KOs and lose.
Yes, against
Versus
GMU.
GMU.
Yeah. Which was
30.
nuts.
I remember
It was like
that.
34.
And they lost.
34. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
34
I think the
KOs.
whole team broke 40, and they still lost. And I think that just shows something about, especially with a new roster. They have a much stronger goalie now, but I still would need to see how that roster gels. I think the midfield goalie synergy is super important in CCL, and I need to see how that would actually look.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha. Good points there, Vaughn. Good points. I do have a top 10 list, so that's very cool.
all right, let's hear
3Z,
yours.
3Z, you were kind of spitting when it comes to UCF Frogs. They're on my number 10 list right now. That list, this number 10 spot could also be for like Oregon State Black. But I'm feeling a lot. I'm feeling a lot of good energy around the Frogs right now, because that entire program at UCF, they cook. They all scrim together. They all try to improve together. As you were saying before, you have Tanky and Diamond both in the queues permanently. And there's another interesting trend that I've seen for academy teams this year. They split up the main team and then have somebody else that was like might be like the captain of the alternate team in like another year move up to the main team, and then somebody who has main team experience goes down to the academy team to help boost up these youngins. So
We call it a demotion, is what we call that.
demotion,
Actually.
yeah. But at the same time, it's either you're going to be behind somebody on the main team, or you're going to be a leader on the B team and get these players to get better. So it's an interesting trend that I'm seeing. I believe last year, I could be wrong here, but Nats was on the main team, and then Nats went back onto the B team this year. So yeah, UCF Frogs are at my number 10. Number 9, St. Clair. Congratulations, St. Clair. By the way, they got promoted from the academy roster all the way up to their main roster. So you're going to see a brand new logo. It's not the red logo, it's the green logo. So congratulations to them. I'm feeling very good energy about them as well. Shiro, Asu, Ember, Judgmental available. Just a pretty good roster all overall here. Number 8, UT Dallas. I'm usually very bullish on the Comets. I think I've been very bullish on the Comets the last 2 seasons. This season, not so much. I don't think that they are not a bad team. I just think that they're not number 1. I don't think that they're up there. If Snake was playing, I think top 5, but Snake said no, I'm going to be on the sub roster for whatever reason. I hope he's doing well. I hope everything's good there, but I just need to see a little bit more improvement. I just need to see what, if they can hold their weight. And if they do, great. I will eat my shorts. All right. I will eat my shorts. I will, eat my words there. Okay. But yeah, UT Dallas at number 8. Number 7, SLU. I love you, Zoro. I love you so much, but 2 massive departures in Coin and in Trademark. Coin is coming in on the alumni rule as a sub, and Trademark is the commissioner of the league. So both these alumni initially were just going to do league side ops, and and Coin decided to come back. I do like how they are trying something new. They're trying to get Colt on this roster as well. I believe he's been a sub in the past. He was at the Wake Forest event playing Smash Bros for SLU as well. So great guy. Love that guy. So I think this main roster could turn some heads. At the same time, we just haven't seen them in action very much. So Zoro, you got to hold it down there, bud. Number 6, Longhorn Esports. Used to be Longhorn Gaming. There's been some changes out there in Austin, so now it's Longhorn Esports. And these guys are going to cook. Same roster as the last 3 seasons. Nikki Middleton, Mr. Flambeau, and Maple, all my best buds. They're just going to be going absolutely crazy. Speaking of buds, number 5, RIT Orange. Both RIT Orange and Longhorn Esports both have rosters from the past 2 seasons. They have the chemistry. They have the way to build that up, and they're just going to keep going up. That's all I can see them going up. So RIT Orange at my number 5 spot. Number 4, GMU. I like GMU a lot, but there is this giant overshadowing force that everybody on the admin team has been talking about in the CCL. I would put them up in the top 3, but this giant overwhelming force that I'll mention here in a bit is looming over GMU. Now, can GMU get better? Absolutely. They've been getting better ever since the first season. First season, I believe they got top 6. Last season, they got 3rd. They finally beat their demons at SLU in the playoffs, which is a huge moment. Their Twitter account posted like the chains breaking meme because they beat SLU for the first time finally, after getting like 9-0 curb stomped in the past matches and LAN. So it's absolutely insane, and I think they're going to keep improving from there. I'm putting them at number 4 for now. Number 3, NJIT. Probably one of the favorites to win the entire league this year. What a roster upgrade. What an insane roster. If you're playing NJIT, watch out. Their improvement has been stellar over the past few seasons, and they had a lot of fun out in Dallas at the LAN as well. So shout out to NJIT. They're number 3. Number 2, Lakeland, and this is my controversial take here, is that Lakeland is number 2. I don't know why you got Big Mac 1224 instead of Witchings. I've got no idea what happened there. Witchings was pretty much slated, I heard from Soren's mouth at least, to be that number 3rd, and then Big Mac came in at the last minute. I don't know exactly what went on there, but hey, I'm not doubting Big Mac 1224, all right? We're not going to doubt the Big Macster. I think that Lakeland can lift up and can build a program and could potentially use the pain that Soren has been the bridesmaid for the past few months. Ever since CCL fall, has been the bridesmaid, has not been the bride, and that anger is going to propel him. I signed him for the New York Land, and he sat at his computer, head in his hands, for 20 minutes. I was heartbroken. And yes, placeholder Palafins, Sad Boys, they did a great job. They did a great job in that game, all right? And I love my GOAT Joker.
Yeah, thank you,
I love
Dylan.
NXED.
Thank you, Dylan.
You know, I love the guys that I signed. I love Soren so much. He's going to use that. And he's going to empower the rest of his teammates to get better through that. I think that there is a potential there for another Grand Finals trip. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how the season turns out. But
Any potential for another 2nd place?
exactly, because my number 1 is UCLA. I think by and large, it's the UCLA, it's the Sundubu Striker lore that's going to propel LA to get yet another title in the CCL this season. I mean, same roster as last year. The alumni rule helps out getting Gramella back into the fray. Y'all have been just clicking. I think everybody pretty much has UCLA as their number 1, and then it's kind of just the same 5 teams in that top 5, and then a few other teams past that. But yeah, UCLA, I do like Borg's prediction, UCLA versus NJIT in the grand finals. I could also see Lakeland getting there. I can also see GMU getting there. I can even see Longhorn Esports getting that grand finals spot. I think that there's a lot of fun stuff that could happen over the course of the season. We just need to see it play out, and play out it will, because it's time for predictions, guys. It's time for predictions. Enough yapping about what might happen. Let's talk about what will. All right, first match on the table, CU Boulder Strikers from Colorado versus NC State Wolfpack. We're welcoming back the Wolfpack for the first time since fall of 2023. K-Bot, who you got?
I've got the Wolfpack here. I think Wet Zero is going to have to go on some kind of Coach Prime arc to get this CU Boulder team up there. Give me the Wolfpack for their Week 1 victory.
Vaughn.
Hey, I'm going to double down on the Wolfpack. Wumper Nugget is him. Wumper Nugget is him. And anyone, also this Lextric person, I think I saw him in my games recently, and I say this all the time. If I start to see you in my games, I have faith in your CCL abilities. So I'm gonna say Wolfpack, and you know what? Well, I'll break bread with Kenneth. I'll say 2-0 as well. I think he's onto something there. So I'm going 2 for 2 on the Wolfpack prediction.
Borg.
I'm gonna triple down on the Wolfpack here. Vaughn already talked about the GOAT Whopper Nugget, obviously, but sleeper pick on this team. I am Arch. He is Arch, everybody. Mm-hmm. I want you to let that be known. Say it in chat. He is Arch.
He is Arch.
Or she. Actually, I don't know. Probably he's Arch. They are Arch. Whatever, we'll figure it out in about how long? Like maybe 30 minutes here. Soon up, coming in here. And I think they're going to take it 2-1, though. I'm not breaking no bread. My bread's staying whole.
Love it. Love it. 3Z.
Personally, I'm a fan of Hawaiian bread, but that's neither here nor there. We're going to go with a Wolfpack sweep. Once again, Wubber Nugget is my GOAT as well. Classic name. Designed some great art as well, so check them out on the CCL store if they have some stuff on there, which I'm sure they do.
Oh, yeah, they're doing the entire Essential collection. So you can get an iPhone case that looks like Now's tablet.
Oh,
check that out.
That's actually pretty cool. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Wolfpack here. A desk sweep.
Yeah, I think I'm also going to clinch a desk sweep here. The Wolfpack are going to take this. No offense to the Colorado, love you guys out there in Boulder, but I think Wolfpack has a slight skill advantage here. But if CU Boulder pulls off an upset, that would be kind of crazy. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Longhorn Esports versus Ole Miss Esports is the next one on the plate. It's a top 5 matchup in college football. Will that translate to Core Strike Field, Kenneth?
Longhorn Esports sweep. Nicky Middle and lore. We've already talked about it. Just throw up the bowl and let's move on.
Yeah, I think I'll double down on it. I like seeing I always like seeing Longhorn come out, and then are they playing? Ole Miss is one of the new teams, right?
No.
See Daddy.
Newer players.
See Daddy
players.
Magic.
Oh, newer
You
players.
know you want
Well,
some See Daddy magic,
See
Vaughn.
Daddy Magic.
I think the C Daddy Magic will be taking a set. I think sometimes experience is a lot. I love seeing newer players enter. I really like that, but at some level, you just have to compare the raw data. I think Longhorn Gaming probably has a collective 800 hours on some of those players. I think that's tough to make up that deficit. And if you have a team that's going set 5.5 against our reigning champs versus a team that's got about like a silver average in their solo key rank, I can't help but vote for Longhorn. But down to see some C Daddy and Milkshakes magic potentially another week.
Borg.
I'm down to see some C Daddy Magic this week, baby. I'm going 3-3 for another season in a row. I'm going for it again. Oh yeah, C Daddy, bring me home. Oh yeah, let's go. That's my one. Leave that one out.
All right.
Leave that one out.
Two votes for Longhorn Esports, 1 vote for Ole Miss from Borg. 3Z, who are you thinking? I already know what you're thinking. 3Z Breezy redacted incoming. Doesn't even have to talk. Doesn't even have to talk. We got three votes here for Longhorn Esports, and make it 4. Longhorn Esports are gonna have a lot of fun here. I do respect that Yachty is taking the reins as a coach. You know, putting up the striker gauntlet, getting into the headset and coaching aspects like Vaughn will in the Omega Strikers movie. That's just how it's gonna be here. Because Longhorn Esports, again, the cohesion, they're a top 5 team. Give me Longhorn Esports here. Next up, a decently pretty fun match, I think. St. Clair, the St. Clair Saints versus RIT Orange. Both of these teams have some synergy. Both these teams are pretty high up. What do we think here, K-Bot?
I think this will be a test for both teams. I am going to give it to St. Clair even still. I think the roster upgrade of Judgmental I weigh more than the cohesion and sticking together of the RIT squad, because it doesn't look like the RIT squad's been playing a whole lot as of late. Of course, we mentioned Bepo at a couple tournaments, but I don't see many of the others, at least in the queues on the Clarion charts. Give me St. Clair here.
Vaughn.
I'll pivot the other way. I've got an RIT win. Maybe St. Clair takes a game, but I think RIT might even 2-0. I really think that Bepo is a very strong wall. And I also think that Malamonov has been, from my limited experience of what they've been up to and what I see people type in different servers, has been experimenting on other picks. Kind of formerly known as a bit of a Rasmus go-to player, but now has some other strikers under their belt. I'm curious to see what, if any, they'll choose to bring out. But I'm actually going to go RIT. I'm going to say 2-1 because I think there's just going to be a match where Shiro ISO goes crazy on like a Kai or an Amy. Definitely has characters that are strong in the meta that I know they're able to pilot. So I'm curious to see what will happen in terms of the Awakening drafts and what maps they go to. Because I think RIT has some maps that their character pools are just killer on. Like I'm never taking this team to like Amy's, for example, or I really don't want to take them to Tycho. So give me RIT. I'm gonna mix it up with K-Bot. Give me a 2-1 on it as well.
Borg, we're tied.
2-0 RIT Orange. Bepo has the brownie buff. It's over. I mean, I think Judgmental getting back into the game, obviously very, very good player, but I don't know. There's something about the roster I'm reading that it's just not sticking with me. Maybe it's because their sub is just like a worse Balix. You know what I mean? Bailable. Not feeling it, you know?
Okay. All right. 3Z.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with RIT here. Who knows how informed they'll be, like K-Bot said. But I'm gonna value that team cohesion, that team chemistry and spirit, over maybe the higher solo queue, ranks or performances of the St. Clair Saints. I think that RIT is definitely the more consistent team overall in previous seasons, and as players, so I'm gonna go with them.
I'm also going to go with RIT Orange here, but give it to me 2-1. I think this one will be a close one. This will test both teams. It's a very good start to the season for both teams because it gives you a challenge. A lot of these top teams are playing against newer teams or lower ranked teams, and they're not going to get a whole lot of fun or good learning out of that experience. So give me RIT Orange, but it's going to be a close one, 2-1.
It's gonna be a good game.
It's going to be a very good game. Going to be a very good game. Unfortunately, we won't have that streamed, but we will have a Battle for Canada streamed here. We've got YU Esports from York University versus U Alberta ESA Koalas right here next here on Odyssey Interactive. K-Bot, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I didn't have either one of these teams on my top 10. I do think Alberta is on the outside looking in, though. I like Alberta here in this matchup. I think between the two, Alberta's got the stronger roster. Give me them to take this one.
Vaughn.
Okay, I have a question. Are both these teams Canadian?
Yes.
Yes.
One's from Alberta, one's from Ontario.
Okay, Godspeed for finding their mutual server then. Because
Yeah.
that's going to be... They're Canadian West and Canadian East.
Play to
That's
Texas.
tough.
Play to
You
Texas
must
or
get
Denver.
90 ping.
Welcome to Denver.
I have sympathy for this matchup. That's going to stink. So something I actually want to bring up that none of us have mentioned is U Alberta had X-Kether for a
I
long
remember
time.
Scather.
Literally since beta. And now they've got a new player in Coin Flip. I'm just going to read it, Coin Flip. And I don't think, not as definitely high ranked as X-Kether, and I'm curious to see if that's going to matter a lot. Zenith is a name that really, funny enough, was an NASL player and pretty good. Has the record for most KOs, I think, in a single game in NASL still to this day.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool stat to drop. So while I think that U Alberta has a lot of tools, I'm kind of interested to see how YU performs offensively. They do have Andy in the back with the thing, and I know very well firsthand that Andy sometimes can play like a beast, and sometimes he can play like a dog, a different kind of beast, if you will. So that guy is as coin flip as they come, and sometimes he looks like an S tier winner, and sometimes I think he belongs in silver games. So it really depends on the flavor of Andy that shows up, but I don't think that Shadow Crypt and Wake Up are going to be able to get past the experience like duo of Light Sky and Zenith, at least to start the season, especially as a new team. I think that's like a litmus test for teams. Like, if you want to be a top team, can you keep up with Light Sky and Zenith? If you can't, you got a lot of work to do because those guys are pretty good. So give me 2-0 with the Koalas this week.
It's a lot like what Sicko's committee says here on Twitter. The Stanford test, the Hawaii test. You got to get through that litmus test, So I totally agree there, Vaughn.
The Stanford test.
Stanford test.
Facts.
Borg.
A Stanford test.
Yeah, the Andy on my team versus Andy on enemy team. Little conundrum there that I face in solo queue almost all the time. Sorry, Andy. Love you as a person, but I mean,
I'm sorry.
Getting the shout outs here.
Ugly ass profile picture.
Yeah, Vaughn does not
that
like
matters
the
a lot.
picture. I personally don't really care that much, but I see why. At the end of the day, I'm just gonna agree. I'm a big Light Sky fan, actually, from I believe Knowledge Gap. I'm pretty sure Light Sky. I remember seeing Light Sky and being impressed, and obviously Zenith, technically a former teammate of mine for one tournament. So, big Zenith fan. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was the release tournament for the people that weren't in the prod, and we lost I forget who we lost to. It was some CCL people, I think I remember. It was something. It was a game we should not have lost. I'll say
Here's
that
a
much.
fun fact as well. In the biggest OS tournament in history, Light Sky for the Dubu Cup, his team won the consolation bracket. If I'm not mistaken.
That's true.
There you
Yeah,
go.
there you go.
Hey.
Deep cut on that one. I'm a knower. So
U Alberta
I respect
2-0.
those guys.
U Alberta 2-0. I'm joining the consensus here.
Driesland.
Feeling like a koala today. Not sure why we're named the Koalas when we are a Canadian school. Not sure at all why we are, in fact, the Koalas from Canada. But I'm feeling like a koala today, Mr. Surplus. So we're going to go with you, Alberta, 2-0.
Sorry, what's your mascot again?
The
3Z?
Bruin.
A Bruin, which is in fact a bear, which are native to California. Thank you very much.
And they get eaten by lions. That's exactly right. Let's not disparage.
Hey,
Hey, not in my solo queue game.
not a grizzly bear, okay? Maybe a black bear. I'm feeling like a grizzly bear this season.
Grizzly bear. I like that. I like that a lot. I like that a lot.
Never helps,
Give me
speak it into existence.
Give me you, Alberta, here. I like the veteran leadership on that squad versus the relative newcomer energy coming from York. But hey, I'm interested to see what York can do in the season as well. Give me you, Alberta, the Koalas, and a 2-0. Next, after that, around 9 p.m. Eastern, esports at OSU Black versus the UCF Rogs. The longest matchup, over 300 miles of distance between these two schools.
Jeez.
Two different time zones on the opposite ends of the country. They're going to be going into Dallas and playing. So, K-Bot, what do you think?
I think we've hyped up eSports at OSU Black quite a bit here. I still like them. I think they're the more active team right now. I know like the UCF has an incredibly strong program, and I'm incredibly curious to see how this roster experiment goes because they kind of have two almost equal rosters rather than like one really strong one rather weak one. So I think there's a chance that if they sync up their practice schedules, they could actually improve a little more steadily with some feedback back and forth. But week one, right now, I like the prep work that OSU Black has done in the mines. Give me them to take this one.
Vaughn.
Another 2-0 as well, and I also agree with Kava once again. I gotta think it's an OSU Black thing. I think the experiment, I'll speak on that a little bit. The experiment with mixing up your teams is interesting, but my big one is always as someone who's helped run an esports program at one time, I'm always a big fan of put all your best players on the same roster. They all improve more when you play with people as peers, so you don't have to like maybe divert your attention as a player and then mix them up in practice. Like there's no one saying that like you can't mix up your two rosters in practice. I think maybe if all of their strongest players were on roll, like I've seen Amy in the queues a lot, a bit of a lockdown aficionado on Dubu. All right, so I've got some familiarity. Again, the name doesn't really match the champ pool, but I can't complain about a melee goalie in CCL. That being said, I still am going to stick to my guns. I talked about OSU Black at the very start of the season. They had a bit of a dark horse run last bracket. I really like the cut of their jib. So let's take a 2-0, an emphatic 2-0, another 2-0 for me. OSU Black is going to take this one in week one.
Borg.
You know, I'm feeling like a ROG right now. I don't know about you guys. I'm feeling like a little bit of a ROG.
3-3.
Borg,
I
can you
think-
tell me what is a ROG?
Sound it out.
Well, I
Sound
assume
it out. You have to read it out. Read out their name.
So I assume they're trying to make a pun with like UC frogs, but I'm just gonna say ROG because I think it's funnier. But yeah, I think the ROG's gonna take it. I like Tanky McTanky here. I think Tanky McTanky's gonna have a god-like game. I think it'll be a 2-1. I think it'll be really close, but I think their coach and manager Abdul3838 is going to carry them to victory here with some incredible drafts.
Amen.
Amen.
To Abdul.
Amen.
It's going to be an OSU Black sweep. Again, like K-Bot, these guys have been in the mines, and that bird is chirping, that little canary down there. They're climbing. They're climbing out. So good stuff from especially Zunicore. I was impressed with today. Saw them play very well in the match today. So yeah, going to give this one to OSU Black.
I'm also giving this to Oregon State, but UCF, I mean, I would not count them out whatsoever. Both those teams went 4-4 last season. They both made play-ins. Both those teams went from play-ins to playoffs, and then they both I think they won a few matches in the lower bracket, and then got decent plays. But hey, that's a good litmus test for the future. If you're able to make the playoffs, you can get some good success for the future, especially if you don't change up the rosters, which is pretty much they've done minor adjustments here. So I'm interested to see what they're doing, especially with Tanky McTanky and Diamond there. But give me Oregon State Black for this matchup. And finally, to wrap out the night, it's a grand finalist versus a grand champion. UCLA versus UT Dallas. K-Bot, what are you thinking?
Snake's not playing. Give me UCLA, right? I mean, it's pretty simple here. I think if Snake's playing, this is kind of close. But I think UCLA probably still has it right now. I don't know if they'll be, championship tested, battle ready for the whole season yet. But I do think they'll take this week one.
Dope. Vaughn.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I think I said my piece on this. I have respect for the players on UTD, but I know these guys on UCLA. if they're gonna get in their scrims versus the off rollers, one of the best teams in North America, and with that kind of practice, there's no one that can stop them in CCL. So it's a 2-0 for UCLA, but maybe at the end of the season there's a different story. But that's all I got for week 1 for sure.
Borg.
It's a STK, aka UCLA sweep. 2-0. That's all I'm gonna say.
3Z, I think we all know what you're gonna say here. Yep, there you go. Yeah, that makes sense.
Teddy bear.
I love. That's
Give
a
him built
Bruin.
different.
That's a Bruin.
It's a Bruin.
It's a Bruin. Give the Bruin built different. Love it. Yeah, give me UCLA here as well. Don't count out UTD either during this season. Of course, I'm always bullish on UTD, but give me UCLA here. It's the best players that we've seen in quite a long time in the CCL, and they're going to be on their way, en route to a national championship. Texas Tech played them first game last year, and now they're national champions. So we'll see if the NJIT
So who does Texas Tech play this year?
If the NJIT Lowlanders become national champions.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see there.
Very real possible.
Or no, Fanshawe. Fanshawe is playing our main team. So yeah, Fanshawe Fuel.
Oh yeah.
So
Big fan.
can they bring a title to Canada? Who knows?
God,
We'll see.
oh, never mind. Sorry, Canada team, no shot.
Never been a Canada title winner. Nope, definitely not.
No, I don't think a Canadian team will win OS in the current day of our Lord. Thankfully, Streak isn't. It's the old team of
The old
Streak,
man.
Inton.
The boogeyman is gone.
The
Bye-bye,
Boogeyman is
Streak.
gone.
He was extinguished last season.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. By
On some
beds.
Babadook
By
floor.
beds because they kept sleeping in. So whoopsies there. Anyway, that is it for us here on the Game Day Deska. Enjoy our brand new home here on Odyssey Interactive. Thank you to Odyssey Interactive for letting us use your channel and to desecrate it with our takes. We'll see you guys next week. Enjoy the games. Coming up next, a battle for Canada. YU Esports versus U Alberta ESA Koalas. See you later.